Busted, of course, still 3 games left to go until the end of the league season now, although obviously you've secured safety, so I suppose a bit of a strange one in that there's not as much riding on these games as there has been this season. So I mean, has it been any more relaxing at all, less stressful for you this week?
The preparation's still been the same. Obviously the pressure's off a lot now in terms of we don't need points to stay in the league, which is obviously what we were desperate to do. So that side of it is probably a little bit more enjoyable, prepping for the games and tactically looking at the games, because there's you lose that pressure that comes with it, which at times, having experienced both sides of pressure in terms of trying to win a league and then trying to stay up, it's a different type of pressure, and at times the pressure of staying up's not enjoyable and it is hard, and obviously you learn from it and you've got to embrace them moments, which we did as a coach and staff and as players. I think we did embrace the pressure that came with it, but certainly it's slightly different. It feels a little bit more relaxed in terms of the prep, but we still want to go out. We want to carry the momentum on that we've built over the last few weeks. We want to win the football match, and ultimately we want to finish the season as strong as we possibly can to take us into that final. Yeah,
I mean, with that sort of pressure being taken off a bit and that type of thing, does it make it any more difficult to kind of keep lads or even keep yourselves, focused on the next game and stuff? Obviously the whole overarching thing is everyone looks at Wembley at the end of the season, and kind of fans wise, a lot of fans are obviously casting their minds towards that, but for you it can't really get to that point yet.
No, I mean, just speaking from a personal point of view, I love every single game, and I love sort of dissecting tactically the opposition and trying to work out how we're going to play, and us as coaches really enjoy doing that. So there's no different on that front. We still get the buzz from that. That's why we do it. We see all the time. It's more performance based, and that's what we strive for, to get really good performances, and that's no different tomorrow. We want a really good performance from the boys. We worked hard this week in terms of meetings and how we're going to tactically approach it, because Woking are a really, really good side. I'd probably say, looking back through the season, that's the one game where we didn't lay a glove on them at all. They came to our place, they dominated from start to finish. They were too physical for us, too strong for us, and too clinical. And as I say, we didn't lay a glove on them. So there's certainly that incentive for us to set it as a marker and see if we've improved since then. There's such a good side in pressing. They really do press the ball. They want the ball back as much as they can, and they're really aggressive with it as well. So for us, it's a case of showing that when teams come in, they are aggressive and they want the ball back, that we still stick to our principles. The boys are brave, they want to get on the football, and ultimately prove how good a footballers that they are. It's the way we play sometimes. If teams sit back, we can comfortably get on the ball, and it's harder to break down the other end. But when teams come and press, you have to be really brave, because you're receiving the ball closer to your goal, and that comes with courage from the players. It comes with an understanding of what you want to do when you get the ball as well, because if any of the processes break down, then ultimately they're in on our goal. So we have to make sure we're really sharp, and I think the players will look forward to that. They're looking forward to a really good test tomorrow, and us certainly as coaches are looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, and in terms of sort of squad-wise, obviously one familiar face coming back into the fold with Larac coming back on loan from Boston. Obviously he's been there for a few months now, getting a bit of game time in the National League North. But obviously, what was behind the decision to bring him back in?
Yeah, well, first off, obviously, he's done well when he's been out of Boston. We heard good reports of it. We love Larac as a person. We love having him around the place, his energy. I can't tell you what an unbelievable lad he is. So that was also in the process. And with the final coming up, we've got a squad now that's kind of thinning, and we don't want to risk. We don't want to risk boys when we don't need to, so we need as many bodies as we possibly can. So that was the main thinking of it. But he's going to add to us as well. Larac's still so young. He came through at Doncaster and made his debut at such a young age. I think sometimes people forget how young he is. So we're looking forward to getting him on the pitch, because he's such a good player, and we think he's going to strengthen us for the last 3 games. And it's also not just that, it's the training, what he brings and stuff as well. We always say if lads perform better in training, it brings everyone else in. So we're looking to really raise the standards in training and get everyone as high as they possibly can for the run-in and for the final. And Larac does that, and we're really buzzing to have him back, because as I say, he's such a good lad and he's a very good player as well.
And on the injury front, of course, a bit of a mixture of longer term and shorter term stuff. Obviously, Pani went off on Tuesday in the first half with a bit of an issue, and then on obviously longer term stuff, Kenton's been out for a while. Obviously, Will and Tom have been out for a while. Forbesy and Knighty's still out as well. But how's kind of everyone looking as a whole squad at the minute?
So we've got Will. Will's going to be back in the squad tomorrow. He's had issues with his illness and with a slight ankle injury as well, but he's worked so hard to get back to where he is, so we're really pleased to have him back. He still needs a lot of work, he still needs a lot of fitness, but we're hoping to get that into him the next 3 games, build his minutes up. Kenton's not ready yet. He's obviously still got the tear on the bottom of his foot. We're not sure how long that's going to be. He's working as hard as he possibly can to get back, but we don't know exactly how long it's going to be. Tommy Allen, he's not going to play a game for the rest of the season, so he's just one that we're obviously going to work with pre-season, and it's going to be like a brand new signing for us having him back next season. And Forbes, he's not going to play another game till next season either, so obviously it's really frustrating for Forbes because he works so hard to get back and he's had his injury problems, but he's not going to be right. And also Panny's one where he's got a slight niggle in his hamstring. We've got 3 games left. He's not eligible to play in the final, so we won't risk him if we don't need to. He's not available to play fitness-wise anyways, but if he does come back and he kind of feels that he might be able to play, it's not worth it when we've got lads who can play, who are fit and who are less risk of injury. It doesn't make sense for us to put Pani in and get him injured then and miss the off season and then have to catch up pre-season. We want obviously Pani to come back as fresh as he possibly can, so probably with Pani just to take the time out now, get as fit and strong as he possibly can in the off season, and then come back pre-season firing.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned sort of things with an eye on the final a few times there, but of course it's a bit of a strange one in that you've got the league finishing next Saturday and then kind of 3 weeks with no games and sort of a bit of a strange period where everyone who's not involved in the final will kind of be, just finishing in the sort of period between pre-season and the season finishing. Obviously, yous are still in then, but I mean, what's the schedule kind of looking like for yous? And even with the last few games you got coming up, as you mentioned there, do you kind of have a bit of an eye on trying to make it as low risk as possible for boys who can play in the final, just on the off chance that someone somehow manages to kind of pick up an injury and then gets ruled out? Yeah,
well, I think we have to, but it's getting the balance because we want boys as match fit as what they possibly can be, but ultimately we just can't afford for any of the players to get injured because we know with our squad for the competition that it's already thin with lads ineligible to play, so we have to be careful with getting them the right minutes but not overcooking it and risking injury. And then once the season's done, the boys who aren't eligible, that's them done for the season. They can have the off season. The boys who are able to play in the final, the training will start again the Wednesday after the final game of the season. Then we'll just continue on from there up until the final. So there's a lot for us to look forward to for the club, but we really just need to focus on Woking tomorrow and make sure that we go there and we put on a really good performance, because it's important for next season that we show how that we can compete with these clubs as well, and we really believe that we can, and we have to go there tomorrow. We have to give everything. We have to compete with them on every front, and as I see it, it's that momentum that leads into the final. We don't just want to go into the final having come off the back of 3 losses. We have to have good momentum, and also for next season as well, it just gives us that little bit of confidence to see, listen, when we kind of got to grips with the league and we put a good run together towards the end, we were competing with the best sides in the league, so there's no reason why we can't get off to a good start, and it all adds into each other, and we really need to make sure that we finish the season strong.